Oh, the gray drabbies. Yes, they are here. The clouds have moved back in. Rain in the forecast for later on tonight. Yes, winter is in full swing around here, and that means for a lot of us the arrival of seasonal affective disorder. Now, luckily, a top expert has created a method to beat these winter blues. Joining us live, Stanford School of Medicine professor Dr. Greg Hammer. Dr. Hammer, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill. Great to be with you.
Yeah, so for folks who may be unfamiliar, start out by telling us what seasonal affective disorder is and describe the symptoms.
Seasonal affective disorder, Bill, is simply the winter blues, as some people call it. It's signs of depression that can mean poor sleep, depressed mood, of course. An increase actually in a variety of illnesses actually correlate with this. So it's something I think that many of us have actually experienced. I think you up in Seattle and more recently us in the Bay Area with regard to long stretches of cold weather and rain and gray skies understand what it feels like to be sad and a bit depressed during this time.
How many people are affected by this?
I don't really know whether there are really good data, Bill. It's certainly very common. It's a bell-shaped curve, as we say in medicine, with regard to so many disease states. You know, the majority of us have occasional sadness or blues or mild depression during the winter. Few people are out there on the end of the bell-shaped curve with very serious depression and a variety of medical disorders that are associated with the weather being gray and rainy and cold for prolonged periods of time.
Okay, so this is really exciting, how we can deal with seasonal affective disorder. You have developed a 3-minute method. Can you explain briefly kind of how this works and what it's about?
Sure. Well, I think first, the 3 pillars of our physical well-being are sleep, exercise, and nutrition. And getting outside in nature, I think, is really key. In fact, there was a study in Finland that was just published by the Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare. And I think those in Finland are well familiar with long, dark stretches of time in the winter. And what they found was if those who went out in nature, took a walk 3 to 4 times a week, had more than a 1/3 reduction in use of blood pressure medication and a 1/3 reduction in mental health medication and even less asthma. My method is called the GAIN method, and that really targets our spiritual or emotional well-being. And GAIN is an acronym for what I think are the 4 domains of spiritual wellness, which are gratitude, acceptance, intention, and non-judgment. And basically, this method is simply a 3-minute or so contemplative meditation in the morning. We get up, we open the blinds, we do our morning hygiene, we find a comfortable place to sit, we close our eyes, we focus on our breath, we slow it down. That's associated with a decrease in heart rate and blood pressure, general feeling of well-being, and then we contemplate that for which we're grateful. We then focus on something maybe a little bit uncomfortable or painful, and we open our chest and open our heart and bring that pain in and really embrace it and fully accept it, and that really decreases the amount of suffering that we feel. I is for intention. We focus on our plan, our purposefulness, because our default way of thinking is rather negative, as you probably know, and we have a hard time focusing on the present. So we need to have a plan. That's the I for intention. The N in GAIN is for non-judgment. And things don't have to be good or bad. We can simply accept things as they are and eventually learn how to accept ourselves. So we have tools for this contemplation that we can visualize. We then return to the breath and slowly open our eyes, and we're ready to go out in the world.
That's a fascinating strategy in dealing with this. When would we know that it's something more than just the winter blues?
You know, Bill, I think when we are starting to really feel that our sleep is suffering, we're feeling more and more exhausted. As I mentioned, the keys to physical wellness are sleep, exercise, and nutrition. So when we notice that our sleep is degraded, we're too tired to exercise, so our exercise regimen goes downhill. And as far as our diet or nutrition, we find that we're really reaching for a lot of comfort, so-called comfort foods, which are generally fatty and high in sugar. So it's this sort of self-propagating cycle of poor sleep, lethargy and degradation in our diet. And I think we know it when we experience it.
Dr. Greg Hammer, fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for chatting with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Bill. Take care.